Welcome to Empowered Heart to Heart, where you'll hear messages of hope, conversations that heal, and interviews that empower. Well, hey, this is Rhonda Simmons, and I am so glad to be with you again. I'm your host of Empowered Heart to Heart, and welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here with us today. You know, I started this series for the new year called Dear Future Me, the Overcomers series, and I put a call out for speakers, and I have been blown away with the caliber of speakers that I've had on the show so far. You need to check out previous episodes, I believe starting with episode number 88, I believe, or 87, somewhere back there. Check them all out. But it's called the Overcomers series. Tonight or today, whenever you're watching or listening to this, I have another guest all the way from Australia. Yes, I told you we've gone global, so I'm not surprised that I have an international guest tonight. So before I introduce her, let me tell you, you definitely want to like, comment, and share this video if you're watching on our YouTube channel, because you want people to know what you're watching and you're about to be blessed by this guest story. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification button so that you'll know every time I upload a new episode or a new video. Also, reach out to us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And our ID is at TSEFIORG. So you want to make sure that you are in the room. And so I'm super excited because our guest today, Miss Sue Kennedy from Australia, I'm telling you, there is nothing average about my guest today. I keep saying this every single time I interview someone, and it keeps being true. I have met some of the best people this side of heaven since I've started this podcast, actually almost 2 years ago. And so it is so exciting to have Sue here today because she has a story to tell. See, the series is about overcoming. And the fact of the matter is, each and every one of us has a story to tell. But not everyone has the benefit of being able to say they overcame their trauma. Some people are still going through it, and I'm here to help shed light on the fact that you can overcome whatever you're facing. And so my guest today, Sue Kennedy, all the way from Australia. Yes, that's the third time I said that because I'm so excited. She's going to share about how she overcame divorce. Let me tell you, divorce is more than just a signature on a court document. There are so many psychological ramifications of divorce, psychological, financial, emotional, you name it, you go through it. And so I'm not going to tell her story because it's her story. And Sue has a powerful story of how she healed from that event, and she continues to heal. And so without any further ado, I'm going to introduce to you my guest today. Thank you for being here, Sue.
Thank you, Rhonda, very much. It's my absolute pleasure to be here.
Yes, so glad to have you. What time is it there in Australia? I just have to ask.
That's okay. It's 1 p.m. in the afternoon, so it's not too bad.
Wow, that is amazing. So this is kind of like a Back to the Future thing because it's already Friday afternoon where you are, and it's Thursday evening where I am. So I tell you, I love modern technology.
Yes, definitely.
So Sue, I know divorce is unfortunately a common occurrence. I know here in America, the statistics are staggering. Last I checked, about 50% of all marriages end in divorce. That's a scary statistic. But what you don't hear people talking about is the fallout and the pain and how the after effects continue long after the court documents are signed. And so can you speak to us about what you went through after the court hearing, after everything was finalized, and how you got to where you are today.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to share. So yes, when it all happened, it was quite, yeah, quite difficult because I pretty much lost everything. So the husband, the house, I had a dog who passed away as well. Uh, Ended up with no job because we actually had a business together. So of course that went away. I pretty much ended up with nothing. I like no money in the bank either. So I just went, wow, okay, what do I do now? And what just happened? And so at the time, like I then like they didn't happen all kind of at once, but sort of it was like a domino effect. So by the time I got to the end part where there was like nothing left, because after even though we split, we were still kind of running the business till we had to wrap things up. So in that time I got another dog or a couple of dogs, and so when everything started to come to a halt, I fell into a very, very dark depression, which I didn't realize what it was going on, because it was something that wasn't talked about back then. So I didn't really understand, so I did a heap of research. I got to the point where it was that low. I was that low that I actually considered suicide. So it was very dark, and it was thankfully because of my dogs, who I only recently lost. They were the ones that snapped me out of it, thankfully, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to be here and be speaking to you or to be helping anyone else. So I'm very grateful to them. But anyway, from that, I went, well, what can I do? I need to sort of help myself overcome this and work out what to do. So I did a heap of research around depression. From that, I wrote a book, more initially to sort of heal myself. And then from that, I went, I need to now share this with others. So that's why I put it into a book and put it out there, hoping that people would buy it, and I was able to help others. And from there, I wrote other books, one that then turned into a book that was about how to write a book, which I've turned into a workshop, and now I do as book coaching. So I do have a coaching program as well. So yeah, pretty much that's sort of what I did. And I also have an art component in it, so now when things go wrong, I turn to that as well as writing.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. It sounds like you had multiple methods of therapy going on between your dogs and your writing and your art.
Yes.
But how did you know in the midst of all of that when you were healed enough to help someone else?
Well, you get to a point where, if you've been depressed before, you know that it's a very dark place. You don't want to get up. You're not interested in anything whatsoever. Like you're just not even interested in living. Like you just don't find any point in it. So when I got to the point of I feel good and I feel excited to get up and out of bed, that was, of course, when I knew that I could, move forward. I mean, the biggest thing to me was I need to get up and, move, because I need to look after my dogs for starters, and then, of course, myself. So they were big motivators.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. And so your coaching practice is called Author Academy?
Yeah, so it's pretty much Author Academy is my website, and yeah, so predominantly I do book coaching, but I also in my program then help people, from the beginning, or even if they're halfway through and have got stuck and can't go any further. Doesn't matter where you are on your writing journey, but yeah, I pretty much hold your hand all the way through it, and we get to, we proofread, design it, ready for print, and even print it for you if you need.
That is fantastic. That is wonderful. Can you talk to us about the art piece that you mentioned? How does that
Yes.
come into play?
So I mean, because I'm an artist as well as a book coach, I'm like, oh, which do I choose? And I thought, well, I don't need to. Let's combine the two. And that's what I've done. Because what happens is that we all get to a point when we're writing that we do get writer's block. Now, it could be for a number of reasons, but a lot of the time it's something going on inside of us that we need to clear. And so I have a couple of art processes that help you do that. One is we go to the canvas, and then the other is called Neurographica, which is just pen, paper, and markers. And the reason I've got the two different ones is because a canvas, a blank canvas, I mean, it happens to me too. A blank canvas can be quite, you know, you get quite anxious because it's like, oh my goodness, it's a blank canvas. What do I do now? So I get that. So this is why I've got the other technique as well. And it is so powerful. Both of them are, but especially the Neurographica, it's very, very amazing because what we do is we actually create new neuro pathways to be able to move forward, whether that be through trauma or writing your book. Oh, you're on mute, Rhonda.
Thank you so much. So sorry.
That's okay.
But your story is so amazing, Sue, because it not only does it sound encouraging for your healing process for what you went through, it sounds like it's an ongoing therapy.
It
You know,
is. It's
wow.
like a car. We need to maintain our car. We need to maintain ourselves.
Hmm. Wow. So, how many books have you written?
10 of my own. Yes.
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. Wow. So, do you have like a timeline? Do you generate a book every year?
Look, I haven't written one for a few years because I've been busy helping other people. So I sort of got a few ideas of ones that I want to write about, but haven't got to them. I mean, one of them is my cancer journey because on top of all of everything that I've been through, thank goodness, I am grateful that the universe or God, whatever you want to call him or her, yeah, put cancer into my life, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong. I was actually, as I said, blessed because from that, it really just, helped me just look at life differently and be able to, understand different things at different levels. So, it's been a blessing, I think.
Wow. I'm thankful too that you've come through your cancer crisis. Um, it is interesting how so many of these life crises really give us a different perspective on life and what matters the most. And
Yeah.
so you're making such an impact. And so, um, of course, going back to the divorce, that's something that no one ever just wakes up one day, at least I don't think they do, and just say, I imagine, one day I'll be divorced. Um, how do you overcome that feeling of, oh my goodness, this is my life,
Mm.
and you make those adjustments?
Well, yeah, it was very difficult because it was like, all of a sudden I was alone. And it's
Mhm,
like, wow, what do I do now? And how do
mhm,
I move forward with my life? And that's when, you know, everything did sort of, from that, that's when everything started sort of, come crashing down. And that's when I fell into the depression because
mhm,
it was such a scary, daunting period of my life. It's like, well, now what do I do? And that's, as I say, that's when I started to just research and find out what was going on and why. And from that, I focused on that. And that's what pulled me out of it and helped me. And then just knowing that from this, I can help someone else because I've always been someone that, loves to help others. So,
yes. And I was going to ask you, was writing always your passion even before your divorce?
well, I had this teacher at school that reckoned I would never amount to anything.
Mm,
And you know, I think a lot of us had that teacher, in my era anyway. A lot of us had a teacher that said that to us, that we weren't good enough. And so I just went, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I've always wanted to write, but didn't think I could. But I always say to people, because they say, oh, but I can't write. And my answer to that is, if you can speak, you can write.
I love that. I love that. That
Mm.
is wonderful. And you know something, Sue, while you were talking, I was thinking about the fact that everything that you needed to heal yourself was already within you.
Definitely, 100%.
That's so mind-blowing. You
Mm.
didn't reach around for outside sources. And let me just interject here, for anyone suffering with depression or suicidal thoughts, get help. It is
Mm.
okay. Get the help that you need. Talk to someone. Call 911. There, no matter where you are in the world, someone in your community can connect you with someone else to help. Even if you have to go to a police officer, anything,
Yeah.
get help. Life is worth living. Um,
Yes.
but beyond that, I'm just so amazed that um, trauma pulled all of this beauty and greatness out of you that was there all the time.
Yes. It's very exciting knowing, and we just have to stop long enough and listen, you know, and because we need to, as I say, stop and listen to the messages from our higher self that knows everything that we need. And we just have to stop long enough to hear what our higher selves have got to tell us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you shared with me that you have some gifts
Mm.
for potential clients, and I put it up here. Can you give us a little taste of what they can find in the gifts?
Yes, definitely. So it's a page where there's a few different resources. So one is a free 30-day writing challenge. I've actually just created an art challenge, so I might put that in there as well. But it's pretty much all you have to do is put your email details in, and you get every day for 30 days, you get an email from me into your inbox that gives you a picture to look at, and then you have to just look at that for 5 minutes and then write about it for 15. So it helps with writer's block. And I've got a few other bits and bobs on there, but also there is down the bottom of the page, if you would like to have a free 30-minute heart storming session with me about anywhere you are on your writing journey, or just want to have a chat, and even about just the art component of what I do. So whatever, but that offers there on that page as well.
That's wonderful. Did you call that a heart storming session? Oh, I love that. I love that. And so the link, I'm going to show it again. The link will be in the description around this video and around the podcast, so that our watchers and listeners can click on it and go right to your page and get the resources that they need. They'll have to sign up for it. And that is exciting. You offer so much hope and so much help. And I love how there's no space, even though there are thousands of miles between us, there's no space in reaching people. And
No.
I applaud you for doing that. How long have you been coaching other authors?
Oh, it's been about 5 years now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Sue, you have been such an inspiration. If anyone is facing divorce, you are a testimony that they can make it, they can get through it, and come out stronger and wiser and better. And I'm so excited. Okay, one final question that is just nagging me. There is a painting behind you, very
That's
large painting. You
Yes,
did it.
I did.
Oh my goodness, I had a suspicion that you did. That is beautiful. And so that's the type
Yeah.
of art that you would help your clients create?
Oh, it's similar, yeah, yeah. There's the Neurographica is different, but that is an intuitive art painting that I did, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Sue, thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing your story of overcoming. And I applaud you for getting the healing and finding the healing that you needed so that you could not only survive but thrive. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much for having me, Rhonda. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Well, if you'll hang out with me just for a moment or two while I wrap up the show, I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an amazing story and from an amazing person. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm sure if you're not a divorcee, uh, I'm sure you know people who are. And sometimes people end up being very bitter and blaming the other spouse and all of that. And this is not the show where we're getting into who did what and why. We're trying to empower ourselves and to grow and to thrive. We want to move beyond surviving to thriving. And Sue helped us with that today. And so, if you are unable to sign up for any of Sue's free gifts, and you should because they're free. But if you're unable to do that, I challenge you, grab a piece of paper, start writing. You would be amazed at what will come out of you when you start writing and putting your thoughts on paper. And so I love what Sue has to offer. Make sure you check out her free gifts. And until the next time, be blessed, be encouraged, but most of all, be empowered. And I'll see you in the next episode.